Well, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60. I'm smiling, and you'll know why in a few seconds, but I've got a bit of a story to tell. So, yesterday's video went up, and a lot of people had some pretty damn good suggestions on what that vibration was going to be. And I've got to say, I'm really impressed with how you guys diagnosed that with the information that was in the video. As I sort of implied in the video, my mate Jake thought it was a tail shaft center bearing, and you guys actually picked it. The tail shaft center bearing was upside down. I've got some footage of that to play right now.
All right, guys, that looks upside down to me. So that is the vibration problem. Let's see if we can swap it without taking the exhaust off. Right, just thought I'd give everyone a quick update. We have the center bearing the right way around, and a couple of guys mentioned that you actually have to preload them. I was not aware of that. So it is now preloaded forwards. So there is force on the bearing pushing it forwards against the engine. That is awesome. That's going to be what the vibration was. I'm now going to rebend all my heat shields so they don't look so knackered and get it all back together.
After having a pretty good fix, well, I assume it's fixed, with that vibration because the center bearing was upside down, I went on to updating some modules. So I managed to get Wing KFP working properly yesterday to flash the combi. And with the combi, because a lot of people are still, well, I'm still talking about it, the reason I can't get the DCT to display how it should in a DCT, the hardware version for my combi is not compatible with firmware that's compatible with DCT coding, if that makes sense. So you basically what these things have got, they've got hardware numbers, firmware numbers, and then you can code them. My hardware is not compatible with a firmware that ever come in a DCT car. So I can't actually put DCT firmware on my cluster. I can code my cluster for a DCT, but it doesn't act any different than it would with an auto. So that's why my cluster still looks like an auto. Anyway, I went on with coding. I wanted to get all the VIN numbers right in INPA so that if you do a UIF read, all the modules had the correct VIN numbers, because the DSC module was still displaying the old VIN, the transmission was still displaying the old VIN, and I thought, why not? Let's go and get these things updated now. So I updated the transmission, I updated the DSC pump, and then I thought, you know what, I'll just update the GWS. I didn't need to update the GWS, which is the shifter, by the way. Anyway, here's what happened as I was so proud of my coding ability. Okay, so I haven't been filming everything, but we're just going through and updating the GWS, which is the shifter. And yeah, I think once this is done, I should now be able to go back to INPA and all my VIN numbers should be correct. So you guys will be here for this epic moment of finalizing the programming. Something I'm not sure if I've mentioned it yet in this video, but I did scan the car with MHD earlier when I was clearing adaptations, and it did come up with a few errors relating to the shifter, and it could be caused by the wiring from how I've tapped into the EKP module. So if you're following along, don't lock this wiring in yet, just in case it does cause some issues with how I've routed the wire. Anyway, it's definitely letting Wing KFP program it through that PT can, so that's fine. And come on, give me the okay. Errors up there. Come on. Makes me nervous. Real time. Ooh, okay, we have an error. Switching programming mode failed. Diagnose mode, ECU error condition, signature check failed. Signature check failed. Error on flash programming. I'll try and flash it again on slow baud rate, but you can see we have an error now. All right. See you guys in a sec. So that was at about 12 p.m. It is now 5:02 p.m. So it's 5 hours, and I've just managed to unbrick the GWS. And I did it by using, ignore the mess, everything's a mess. I used an ICOM cable. I was using the normal eBay K and D CAN cable, and that's what was causing the bloody errors. All right, now let's start her up. Sorry for that terrible camera angle. Let's start her up. We'll get some heat into it, and let's go and take it for another drive. Make sure that vibration's fixed, and we'll bring the JB4 along to see how it goes. Also, I have changed the idle in MHD, and I've also reset all the octane adaptations, hoping that the lean issues we encountered yesterday were just being caused by old adaptations in the MSD81. Anyway. I think the ABS fault's going to be a calibration thing again. Probably, but we'll find out shortly. Alright, I better go and get the JB4 phone. Huh. My interior light has died. Well look, guys, some time has passed. I had an issue with the DSC pump. I updated that with WinKFP today, and it needed to be reinitialized. What I didn't realize is when you flash a DSC pump with WinKFP, you then need to code it with NCS. So it took me an hour and a half, well, an hour and 15 minutes to get that sorted, but it felt like ages. Now, I've just done a couple of test pulls with the car, and it's no longer running lean. I think it's doing everything it should. So what I'm going to do now is do some logs and do some pulls, and you guys can see how the DCT responds, because a lot of people are saying that the DCT is not going to work with the JB4. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens. Again, we are still running the the stock DCT software, so it will get better once we've got XHP on it. But for now, let's take it for a drive. And I'm just going to show you the cluster so you can see what the gearbox is doing. Okay, you should be able to hear me all right. We are in manual sports mode. We are at map 1, so we're targeting about 14 PSI. Oh, and the paddles hit the GoPro. All right. Jeez, it feels quick. Gotta say, I do like those shifts. If I get the shift closer to like 7,000 RPM, it actually pops, which I didn't think these DCTs were supposed to do. Let's do it again, let's do it again. And I am logging now. Okay. Oh, that is awesome! Okay, alright, I'm gonna just review those logs quickly. Okay guys, we're now in map 2. The logs looked okay, so let's just give it a little bit more boost. It's gonna be about 18 PSI. Got my car back. Thank God for that. Alright, there's a fair bit of wheel spin then. Obviously we're an open diff. I got pretty crappy tyres on it at the moment. Actually, you know what, I better actually do a log. Let's do a proper log. And that's log. It feels pretty rapid for map 2. Fuck it hell. Okay guys, map 2 logs look good. I'm going to map 7. So I'm gonna get some logs in map 7 to send to JSR, because he just said he wants to do some tweaking with the shifts. So I'm just gonna do a log of auto sports mode. Here we go. Jesus Christ, that was a little bit sideways. Woo! Alright. Do some manual shifting. Feels good. Feels good. It's chirping the tyres on the 2-3 shift, which is pretty cool. Seems to auto shift if it revs out enough, even in manual mode, which might be normal. Alright. Bit of a log. You might not be able to see me because all my interior lights have decided to die. but I've developed a wicked rattle. It really sounds like wastegate rattle. What do you think of the DCT, Dave?
Well, you have to be pretty happy with that. That was worth the pain.
Yeah, today was pretty stressful with coding modules and learning how to do it properly for the first time. ICOM is definitely needed, I think, if you're going to be coding modules frequently. Kind of glad that I know why the dash cluster doesn't display like a DCT, so that's all fine. We can worry about that another time. But the gearbox itself is behaving great. Shifts really, really nicely. David actually come for a quick drive then. I was trying to get him to hear that rattle, which hopefully I'll put a clip in now. Okay. We have identified as the front turbo wastegate is rattling like a mother trucker. That rattle started on this test drive. So I don't know if it's just the rod's starting to unscrew or what, but that's really loud.
Yeah, talk about timing.
Yeah. Anyway, China turbos for the win. Yeah, look, this is a bit of a win. Okay, so
Bit of a win. That's huge. I've got to say the car is. We were lucky enough to drive Ty's car when he come up a couple of weeks ago, and it drives just like his, but obviously his was a stock car, so it's the smoothness and everything was very much the same.
Yeah.
But this is just quicker.
Yeah.
And it's so I haven't been in this car for a little while now. I forget how quick it is, but now with the 7-speed or the 7-speed ratio, plus those insane shifts, it felt like a missile.
And I was just going to say this right now because I was just talking to Dave about it. The shifts are so much quicker than, like, this is stock tune software on the DCT right now.
Yeah.
Going through a JB4, which everyone says is bad, the shifts are so much faster than a 6AT. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I reckon when you've got hybrid turbos and you wind them up, on a 6AT, you need to allow like 500 RPMs to shift. So if I want to shift at 7,000 RPM, I'll click the paddle or hit the shifter at 6,500, and the shift will happen pretty close to 7. In this, I reckon, so 500 RPM. This, I reckon, is 200 RPM between wanting to shift and being in the next gear.
And that, it might not sound crazy to the people listening, but that 300 RPM difference makes this car feel instant.
Yeah. Right now, like, I spun the tyres a couple of times, and you could just go shift, bang, and it would just keep spinning. Like, there was no... It was really, really good. Pretty happy with it. Can't wait to get XHP on it. But before I do that, I want to get some more miles on it in the stock tune, maybe give it another service. And this is all going to happen in the next week. But tomorrow, I want to see if I can get those shift paddles working, because they're still not working.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have paddles back.
All right, guys, we're going to end off there. DCT swaps gone well. This is what I was hoping yesterday. I was hoping to have this little summary yesterday. But we got there in the end. A little bit of module messing around, a little bit of fitting the drive shaft center bearing the right way. We got there. Anyway, pretty happy with it. Looking forward to giving it a wash. It's been a while.
That was epic, man.
And just doesn't it all look like it's meant to be?
It's like a new car with your, obviously, your shifter, your IS gauges.
Love it. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for everyone's support, and thanks for everyone's help with that center bearing problem. I woke up this morning, read the comments, and I knew what it was going to be from what you guys have said. That was awesome. You saved me some time. Thank you very much. Catch you on the next one.
Peace out.